Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Unavailable for the series, episode 3. So, today we're going to be talking about the substance abusing father. And this is the father who uses substances and they end up neglecting their children due to the fact that they use substances. So, with substances, we can talk about drugs, we can talk about alcohol, we can talk about so many things. Last week, we had a guest who spoke about her absent father. And today, we have an anonymous guest who is going to be talking about her substance abusing father. So, our guest is anonymous, and this is for confidentiality purposes. So, we are going to protect our guest and make sure that you don't get to know her face and everything. What's important here is her story that she's going to share. So I'm just going to add her in and then we can start the session. Okay, I'm just going to wait for our guest to come in. Okay, our guest has just joined. We're just waiting for her to connect and then we can start.
Hi, Rumbi.
Hi, Ru. How are you? I can't see your face.
Okay.
I can't.
You can't.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. How are you, Ru?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm good. So I just as I mentioned earlier, that today we're going to be talking about the substance abusing father. We've been having a series about unavailable fathers. So today we're going to be talking about the substance abusing father. So before we do that, do you mind introducing yourself?
Okay. I'm Ru, and I am 26 years old, and I'm currently an entrepreneur, but by profession, I'm a social worker.
Okay. Thank you, Ru.
Yeah.
Welcome to our series. So I'm going to start by
Okay.
the first question. So, how was your father's behavior as a substance abusing father?
Okay, so I would say he was, when he was sober, he was quite an intelligent person, a sweet man.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment he took alcohol or intoxicating things, that's when he would start abusing us emotionally, because he would say things that would hurt our feelings. And sometimes he would just start sort of dissing us,
Okay.
me and my other siblings. Yes.
Okay. And how did that make you feel? His behavior and his alcohol use, like how did that make you feel?
Um, for quite some time, it made me feel like I'm trying to find a nice word to put it. It made me feel like
Okay.
every man on this earth is just like my dad. So I used to shut men out.
Okay.
I used to shut men out because I was really scared that if I just become close with any man, he was going to treat me the same way that my dad would treat me.
Okay. And
Yes.
and okay, so that's how it affected you, right? So what else can you say?
Yes.
How did his alcohol use affect you as a person?
As a person, it affected me in a way that I lost confidence in myself, because when he was drunk, he would say, for instance, he would say, you are bad at school. I'm intelligent, because he was really intelligent and he was good at school. And
Okay.
I was just an average person. I was not a person who would get an A. So he would come home drunk and he would say, I'm wasting money. My money is going to waste because you're not getting A's at school. So it made me lose a lot of confidence. I thought the world will never believe in me because my own dad is not believing in me. So I lost a lot of confidence, and it took me years to get it back.
Okay. So you're talking about how you lost your confidence. So this so in a way you can say your father was verbally abusive and emotionally abusive.
Yes, definitely.
That made you lose your confidence. So how then did you relate with people? You say that you lost your confidence and it took years for you to get that confidence back. So how then did
Yes.
you relate with people, with that low self-esteem, loss of confidence? It leads to
Mhm.
esteem, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Can you say
Yes,
you had low self-esteem?
I did. I think even up to now, it's better now. But so there are some instances where I really feel like, okay, it's coming back now. It's coming back. I'm losing my esteem.
Okay. So
Yes.
did you ever felt like you're not enough with your dad?
Yeah, most of the times I felt like I'm not enough. And it really got worse because when I was around about 16 or 17,
Mhm.
that's when I started really seeing that my dad had a favorite child.
Okay.
So when he came home and he would start abusing us, he would abuse me and my two other siblings.
Okay.
And the other sibling, that was the favorite one, was never affected. So even up to now, when we talk about it, she doesn't really comment because she doesn't have any experience
Oh,
of
okay.
the verbal abuse, emotional abuse. Yeah.
Because for her, he treated her well, and she or he was his favorite. I don't know if it was a she or he. She or he was his
It's a
favorite.
she.
Oh, it's a she. Okay.
Yes.
He was his favorite.
Yes.
So even up to now, she doesn't
Hmm.
comment anything. So knowing that
She doesn't.
okay, that's understandable because if she was his favorite, obviously he wasn't emotionally and verbally abusive, like you said. So there's no
Yes.
need for her to comment or say any bad stuff or anything. So knowing that your dad had,
Yeah.
knowing that your dad had a favorite child, how did that make you feel? Just knowing that, okay,
Well,
favorite. And, when he comes back home, then he's emotionally abusive and verbally abusive towards me and my other siblings, but he's not verbally abusive to the other sibling you just mentioned.
mhm. Okay. So when I started realizing that, um, I started feeling like I wanted to compete with my sister so that I would get my dad's attention. So I was like in a competition and it would drain me even more because I was competing with my sister. It only took I had this other lecturer at school when I started studying social work. So
Uh-huh.
I think he studied and he started noticing some behaviors. That's when he started talking to me and saying, "What's going on?" And then I told him everything that was going on. By that time, I had not realized that I'm competing with my sister. I only
Oh,
realized it when he started telling me that, "Do you see that you're trying to compete with your sister so that you get your dad's attention?"
wow.
And that was a wake up call for me. That's when my life changed for the better.
Wow. It's something when I was reading about, these unavailable fathers, I realized that most children who have substance abusing fathers, they do things to get their parents' attention. And in your case, you
Yes.
started competing with your sister because you wanted to get
Yes.
attention from your dad. and you only got to know
Yes.
all that after your lecturer had told you that, you know what, you're trying to compete with your sister because of this and this and this and this. That's when you became aware and
Yeah.
decided to change. So, okay.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask you, like, did you ever alternate to hating and loving your father? Like, did you have moments where you would feel like, okay, I love my dad, and then the next minute it's like, I don't like this man.
Yeah, definitely. I had such moments. Like I said at the beginning, when he was sober, he was really sweet. You would ask him anything and he would do it for you. But the moment he gets drunk,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, it was like it's a totally different person. So it was like 20% of the time he's sober, 80% of the time he's drunk. That's where the problem came. So I would say 80% of the time I hated him. 20% of the time I loved him so much.
Okay. So you said 20% you would be sober, and then 80% you would be, you know, abusive and all. So, like,
Yeah.
what did you try to do to, you know, to protect yourself from the, you know, the verbal abuse and the emotional abuse?
Honestly speaking, I did not do anything. I did not. It's only when I enrolled for social work, that's when I started getting some ideas of what abuse is. Because before that, I didn't know that he's abusing me verbally and emotionally. So when I started doing social work, that's when I started understanding, okay, he's actually abusing me verbally, emotionally, and it's not supposed to be like that. So that's when I started trying to find out like what happens in his mind when he's drunk. Is it something that he premeditates when he's sober and then he lets it out when he's drunk? Or it's just something that happens that he's used to doing it? So fortunately, when I enrolled for social work, he also enrolled. So it's like we were in the same class with my dad doing social work.
Oh, he also,
So now I would, yes, he enrolled for social work. Up to the day he died, he was still studying. My dad was really intelligent. So up to the day he died, he was studying.
okay.
Yes. So that's when I would like sort of like attack him in a way when I saw that he's now wanting to abuse me and my siblings. And then I would look at him and tell him, Dad, what did we learn at school? What did they say about this and this and this and that? And then from then he started changing in a way. And I also think because of age, he started like getting chilled, not drinking all the time, trying to make some time with us as a family. So I would say at first I couldn't protect myself because I didn't know that's the situation I was in. But the moment I realized I was in the situation, thankfully God intervened and we did the same program, and he changed himself in a way, I would say.
Okay. That's interesting. You know what I've just realized? We are here talking about the substance abusing father, but I'm just realizing that your dad also falls under the category of the abusing father. Like you said, you didn't know that, you know, it was abuse. We only know the physical abuse. That's what we know, right? And the sexual abuse, right? But then the emotional part and the verbal part, we don't normally talk about that. So you had to
Yeah.
realize, oh, my dad is verbal abusive and emotionally abusive. So right now, as we are discussing
Mhm.
and talking, I'm actually realizing that your dad also falls under the abusing father, in the sense that he's
Yes.
emotionally and verbally abusive. So did you ever become a people pleaser due to the unavailability of your father? Do you think
Yes, I did.
people please
I
at
did.
that point? Okay, how
Yes,
can you try and
definitely I
explain
did.
how you were a people pleaser in people's lives or in your friends'
Um,
circles or
what happened? Um, I I wanted people to give me the attention that my dad was not giving me.
okay.
So in wanting people to give me the attention that my dad was not giving me, I would please people so that they give me the attention. And also in some instances, I felt like, okay, so if my dad is treating me this way, it means everyone's dad is treating them the same way my dad is treating me. So
Okay.
I wanted to be there for everyone in as much as I was not supposed to be there for everyone because not all dads are the same.
So did you end up hurting yourself in the process of trying to please other people?
Yes, I did. I hurt myself a lot to the extent that I would sometimes get into bad relationships because someone gave me attention and then I felt like maybe they loved me, but they didn't.
Okay.
So it really hurt me to the extent that um, by the time I finished college, I didn't want anything to do with relationships. I just told myself, all men are the same. All men are the same because I was getting into relationships for the wrong reasons.
Okay. And it's something that you had to realize or discover when you were doing your social work course. Is that correct?
No, it's something I discovered when my youth pastor back then
Mm-hmm.
tried to hook me up with a guy from church.
Okay.
And then I told her, no, I'm not interested. I just need some time to myself, etc., etc. And then she said, no, I've been watching you for some time. And it seems like you've shut yourself in your own world. What's going on? Then I told her, this is what has been happening. I've been getting into relationships and I've been having these problems. And then she made me realize that I've been having the same problems in different relationships.
Wow.
So she started doing Christian counseling for me. And then she sort of became a friend. And then she introduced me to this guy that she wanted me to date. But um fortunately or unfortunately, I ended up becoming friends with the guy and not dating. And then that's when the guy started telling me, no, you know what, Ru? When you're dating a guy, let me tell you from a guy's perspective, you need to do this and this and this and that. That's when I realized, okay, so I've been getting in relationships because I need attention and not love.
That attention you were not getting from your father, you were now looking for that
Yeah,
attention in different guys,
somewhere else.
and they
Mm-hmm.
ended up taking advantage of you because you were getting in a relationship for the wrong reasons. That
Yes, yes.
that's interesting, and I think I'm glad you got to discover all that. Like you had someone who had to point out for you that what you need to work on this and this because you're getting in a relationship
Yes,
for wrong reasons. You're getting in a relationship because you want attention, the same attention
yes,
you're not getting from your father. And you were trying so much to get from him by competing with your sister, but still you were not getting
yeah.
it because whenever he would
Mhm.
get drunk, he would start saying terrible things and harsh words and something
Mhm.
that obviously affected you to the point that you didn't want to, you see, your first statement was you didn't want to see men because you felt like
Yes.
you'd end up finding someone like your dad. So
Mhm.
that's, what, it's interesting and it's sad as well. It's interesting and sad
Mhm.
at the same time because it's something that
Yeah.
most of us are going through. You might realize that it's not only you who went through what you went,
Mhm.
but there are a lot of people out there who are probably in the same situation as the same
Yeah.
were probably in the same situation as the one you were in. So
Mhm.
I what can I say? I commend you for coming out and telling us your story and sharing with the whole world how you felt and what it's like to have a substance abusing father. So,
Yeah.
can you tell me how did you overcome all this? I know you said you had a lecturer who had to point out, things, the like your behavior,
Mhm.
everything. He had to pinpoint all those things. And then you had a pastor who started giving you Christian counseling, and she became a friend. And then you had that guy you talked about who became your friend as well.
Mhm.
How did you overcome all this?
Um, I wouldn't say I have completely overcame everything
Okay.
because I think it's a learning process, and you get there with time. Because even up to now, um, I think the first year in my marriage, I had a problem with my husband where I wanted a lot of attention from him, to the extent that I wouldn't want him to go and see his friends or to go to work and spend more time than we had agreed.
Okay.
I wanted him to myself. So we used to have a lot of problems, and we would argue like, okay, what's going on? And then I would say, you're not giving me attention. And I used to give petty reasons. I actually laugh now when I think about it. I used to give petty reasons until there is a day that he set me down, and then he was asking me, okay, so what do you want from me? Do you want me to be here 24/7 and then we don't have a life? Our life is to just be together for 24 hours. And then he started telling me about there is a sister of his who was having this problem with the husband where she wanted a lot of attention. And then my husband said, do you know what I told my sister? I told her, you are doing this to your husband because our father was never there for us. So I feel like it's the same thing that is happening to you.
Wow.
And I got so angry. I started saying, you are comparing me to your sister. I overreacted. And then you went to work for some time. And then while I was alone, that's when I just started meditating, like, okay, so what's going on in my marriage? What do I want in my marriage? That's when I started realizing I'm just doing these petty things because the attention wanting me is back. So I've been working towards that. I wouldn't say I've completely recovered, but I am so much better. I'm so much better now.
Okay, I'm happy that you have improved and you can happily say you're so much better. And I think it's a good thing that
Yeah.
your husband quickly identified where your problem was, and he managed to
Mhm.
sit you down and talk to you about it. Some people are not very fortunate to find someone who understands them that way. You might realize that some people, their marriages, they end up breaking up because of that misunderstanding. So you're very fortunate that your husband had to quickly pinpoint that, you know what, Ru, you have a problem, because his sister had the same issue before. So it was easy for him to
Mhm.
quickly identify where the problem was. And another thing also is, healing is a process. You can't expect someone to just wake up and say, I am healed, especially when we're talking about these issues. It's something that happened to you for a very long time. And
Mhm.
you, even that when it was happening, you didn't really get time to find help or you didn't get help. Yes, you had people who identified your problem and they explained it to you, but you didn't really get the help you needed. So
Mhm.
I can say I'm impressed that you
Thank
realized that
you.
you have a problem and you sat down and you said, okay, let me think about this. What do I want in my marriage? I want to continue having this attention seeking behavior, or I should work on myself and better myself and become better for myself and your husband. So
Yes.
I'm impressed. I am. I had a guest last week, and she was talking about her absent father, and some of the effects they're kind of similar, but for her she had to go for therapy and she had to sit down for herself, and do self introspection, just like how you did that. You had to sit down and you started meditating, you started asking yourself questions. I remember she said the same thing, that she had to sit down and she had to own up, own her story and say, you know what, I am the one who has a problem and I need to work on this. So I think the first step is
Mhm.
acknowledging that you have a problem. If you acknowledge that you have a problem, then it's easy for you to find healing. Okay, maybe healing might not be easy. The healing journey might not be easy, but I think acknowledging and accepting that you need healing is the best
Yes.
to start your healing journey.
Hmm. Definitely.
So,
Definitely. I agree with you because um I've been talking to I've been introduced to this young girl by a friend of mine.
okay,
So she's been having the same problem with the dad.
okay.
And all the time I was talking to her, I've been telling her the first step is to acknowledge that you need healing. Yes, you've told me about your problems, but do you acknowledge that you want to heal? And she went quiet on me for some time. And then when I met her this other day, and then I asked her, Ako, why have you been avoiding me? You've been quiet. Then she
Mhm.
said, I took time to reflect on myself. So I didn't want to text you. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to reflect on myself and see, is it me or is it the person I'm talking about? And then I asked her, so what did you realize? And she said, I realized it's the person I'm talking about, but also I have a problem because I've been allowing that person to do what he's been doing to me all this time. So from then it was easy for us, and it's been an amazing journey with her because I've seen she's growing a lot. Ever since she acknowledged that she has a problem, she's changing a lot. She's becoming a different person. I was actually telling her we need to write a book on your life.
That's a good way to share your story, writing a book,
Yeah.
talking about it. You should also
Mhm.
to you should come to our Revolved Generation page and watch all these videos. I'm sure they'll be very helpful for her because
Yeah.
we are bringing in different people and they're sharing their stories. And we felt
Okay.
it's very important that we do this topic because I've come across a lot of people who are having issues with their fathers, but they don't know how to
Mhm.
do it. And most of them, they won't be aware that they have father issues until they've come to
Yeah.
me and we've started talking and everything. That's when the person will be like, oh, now I understand why I am behaving in this way. Oh, now I understand why I have
Mhm.
issues. Or now I understand why I struggle to, you know, relate with men, or like a lot of
Mhm.
people get to discover that they have other issues once they sit down with someone and they start talking about their issue. So
Yeah.
um, let her know. that we are doing our Unavailable Father series, and she can come join and watch the series, the videos that we did, and the live sessions that we're going to do next. So, do you have any
Okay.
words that you want to share with the people out there and our viewers, or with anyone who has been in the same situation as yours, or with someone who's probably experiencing what you experienced right now?
Okay, I would want to say, um after you realize that you've got a problem, don't be ashamed to talk about it. The moment you start talking about it, you're actually healing yourself. You realize you start feeling much better. You realize that you start performing even better. You realize that your head, your mind will become clear, and you start having the best ideas you've never had. And I would give an example. When I started talking and sharing with people about my absent father problem, it has actually made me to love and appreciate my husband even more.
Wow,
So I would really encourage people, don't just keep quiet about it. Talk about it. The moment you start talking about it, your life is going to change for better.
that's true. That's true. A problem
Yeah,
shared is a problem half solved. So
very true.
just talking helps, and just
Yeah.
telling someone, it could be your friend, you can go for counseling, or it could be a therapist. Just talking about it helps, and
Yeah.
it helps you identify where you need to work on, or it helps you identify
Mm-hmm.
how you became or the person you are now. So it's very important
Yeah.
that people try to find, just anyone to talk to. It helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rue, thank
Mm-hmm.
you very much. This marks the end of our session, and thank you very much
Thank you for having me.
for sharing your story. Thank you. Trust me, you're going to meet a lot of people with this. You never know. There are people out there with substance abuse.
I'm glad we spoke.
There are a lot of people with substance abusing father out there. And once they hear your story, it will help them know they're not alone, that they're not,
Yeah.
um, what can I say, that there's a way for them to get better. They can get help,
Mm-hmm.
they can heal from what happened to them. So thank you very much for tuning in. This marks the end of our session. And to our viewers, thank you very much for tuning in and watching this session. Please do tune in next Monday, as we are going to bring another guest. So we have brought two women. The next session, we're going to bring a guy, and he's also going to talk about his unavailable father. So please do tune in and get to know about all these get to know about all these experiences people have. So thank you very much. See you next time. And Rue, thank you very much.
All right.